Hogwarts Legacy. If you've ever dreamed of hopping onto a broomstick and flying around Hogwarts, casting spells, and just fully living out your magical fantasy, this game is your ticket to all that and more. It's like finally getting to step into the wizarding world and make your own adventure, minus the whole I'm Harry Potter thing. You're this brand new fifth-year student, so no pressure, right? You're thrown into the thick of it, learning magic, discovering weird, ancient powers. Yep, you're special, and just trying to navigate life at one of the most iconic schools ever. The thing is, you're not just in class trying to survive some potion exams. Nah, you're out here fighting goblins, dealing with dark wizards, and solving magical mysteries. And you get to explore places like Hogsmeade, the Forbidden Forest, and even dive into the hidden corners of Hogwarts that we only dreamt about in the books and movies. Talk about freedom. What makes it so fun is the sheer freedom to explore and create your own magical story. You can attend classes, sure, but who says you can't ditch class for a little adventure? Pick your favorite house, Ravenclaw all day, no judgment, customize your character to your liking, and start learning spells that'll make you feel like you're truly mastering the magical arts. And combat? It's a blast. You get to fling spells like you're in a duel with the whole wizarding world. Mix it up with defensive charms, offensive curses, and even plants and creatures that have your back. The Evil Within is a survival horror game that really knows how to keep you on your toes. From the very beginning, it's all about managing resources, staying one step ahead, and making every decision count. It's got that old school survival horror vibe where ammo is scarce and every encounter could be the last. You never know when you'll run out of supplies, so scavenging feels less like an afterthought and more like a key part of the experience. The gameplay is all about finding the balance between fighting and hiding. Sure, you've got weapons, guns, crossbows, even some melee options, but sometimes it's smarter to sneak around and avoid enemies altogether. There's something satisfying about using the environment to your advantage, like setting traps for monsters or throwing bottles to distract them. It really makes you think about every step, and that's what makes it so engaging. What's great about this game is how it keeps you on edge with its traps and environments. There's always something dangerous waiting for you, whether it's a bear trap on the floor or a surprise enemy that you didn't see coming. But it's not just about surviving. It's about surviving smartly. Every encounter feels different because you can either fight or figure out how to outsmart your enemies, and sometimes that means using the environment in creative ways. Upgrading your character adds another layer of depth. As you collect green gel, you can improve things like health, stamina, and ammunition capacity. Sniper Elite 4 brings the classic mix of tactical gameplay and heart-pounding action to the table with a World War II backdrop. If you love a good challenge, this one definitely delivers. Picture yourself sneaking around massive Italian landscapes, setting traps, and taking out enemies from miles away with precision shots. Whether you're in a dense forest or a sunlit town, there's always something new to discover, and the world feels alive with opportunities for sneaky tactics or all-out action. The game really shines in the way it lets you approach each mission. No need to rush in guns blazing. There's plenty of room for patience and strategy, which is a nice change of pace. You can take your time planning the perfect shot, adjusting for wind, gravity, and distance. It's this mix of thinking and action that makes every successful shot feel so rewarding. And speaking of shots, the X-ray kill cam is back, and it's just as satisfying as ever. Watching that bullet travel through an enemy, hitting just the right spot, yeah, it never gets old. It's like the game's way of saying, you nailed it, in the most dramatic fashion. The environments are huge and diverse, giving you plenty of space to figure out the best way to approach your objective. Want to go in quietly and stealthy? Great. Prefer to create chaos and watch the enemy scramble? That's an option too. And when you're not sniping, there's a variety of weapons and gadgets at your disposal. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. This one is just pure stealth sandbox goodness. It's the kind of game where sneaking around isn't just an option, it's an art form. There's something super satisfying about crawling through the dirt, scoping out a heavily guarded base, and figuring out the perfect way to pick it apart without setting off alarms. And even when things go off the rails, it never feels frustrating. It just turns into controlled chaos in the best way possible. What really stands out is how much freedom it gives you. You're not locked into one style or one path, and if a mission feels too tricky one way, there's always another way to tackle it. Maybe it's dropping in at night, maybe it's using a buddy with unique abilities, or maybe it's calling in some high-tech gear. Everything's so open and flexible that playing around with strategies becomes half the fun. The whole base management system adds another layer that keeps pulling you back in. Sending your crew out on missions, developing new gadgets, upgrading your operations. There's always something to mess with in between field missions. It's got that loop where the more you explore and experiment, the stronger and more equipped you become for the next challenge. And the AI actually plays smart. Enemies start adapting if you keep using the same tricks, which keeps things interesting. Suddenly they're wearing helmets because you went headshot happy last time. Or they're patrolling with flashlights if you've been lurking in the shadows. It makes every encounter feel fresh, like the world is actively pushing back. The streets are calling, and the only way to answer is with a roaring engine and some seriously slick moves. In this game, you're thrown into the heart of Lakeshore, a city that's just begging to be explored, and every turn promises a fresh challenge. As soon as you hit the gas, you realize there's something different about this racing experience. The cool part? You can take full control over how your car looks and performs. It's not just about speed, it's about standing out. You've got all the options for tuning up your ride, from tweaking the performance to going wild with custom paint jobs and stickers that scream personality. Graffiti-inspired effects? Yep, that's a thing. If you've ever wanted your car to literally leave a trail of art as you blaze through the city, this game makes it happen. Now let's talk about the races. Whether you're in the middle of a high-speed sprint or drifting around a sharp corner, there's a sweet flow to the gameplay. Every race feels like a high-stakes game of chess, where every decision matters. The way the city is laid out makes you feel like there's always a better path to take, like you're constantly on the lookout for shortcuts that could shave precious seconds off your time. Plus, with a weekly schedule of events, you're always chasing the next big race to prove you've got what it takes to be number one. The best part? You're not in it alone. If you've got a friend to ride shotgun, the multiplayer mode opens up even more options to team up. Wolfenstein: The New Order is a game that takes you to an alternate version of the 1960s, where the Nazis have won World War II and taken control of the globe. Sounds intense, right? It's an action-packed, first-person shooter that doesn't just throw you into a bunch of missions. It immerses you in a world full of unique enemies, crazy weaponry, and some seriously high stakes. And while it's all about blowing stuff up, it doesn't skimp on telling a compelling story either. From the start, the game does a great job of letting you decide how you want to handle situations. Do you want to sneak through enemy lines, pick off foes one by one? Or are you the type that charges and guns blazing, taking out anyone who dares cross your path? Either way, the game's combat feels satisfying and flexible. It's not just about shooting, it's about making the experience fit your style, which is always a nice touch. One of the standout features here is the weapon variety. We're talking everything from standard guns to wacky, over-the-top experimental weapons. And the best part? You can dual-wield most of them. Want to go full Rambo with 2 shotguns? Go for it. That level of freedom really makes combat fun, and there's something pretty thrilling about unleashing chaos with a weapon in each hand. The environments are also well thought out. Each level feels like a different part of this twisted version of Earth, and the design really pulls you into the setting. You'll explore everything from high-tech Nazi strongholds to more desolate, war-torn locations. The Callisto Protocol. If you're into creepy corridors, things skittering in the dark, and that, wait, did something just move feeling, this one delivers the goods hard. It's basically a roller coaster ride through a space prison gone horribly wrong, and you're right in the middle of it with nothing but a stun baton, bad luck, and sheer stubbornness to keep you alive. Combat here is gritty, up close, and surprisingly brutal. It's not your usual spray and pray shooter. Instead, it's more like dodge, whack, panic, repeat. Super physical and intense. There's a real weight to every swing of your weapon, and when enemies get close, which they will, you feel it. The game wants you to get your hands dirty, and honestly, it's kind of satisfying in a I didn't know I liked melee this much kind of way. But here's the fun part. It's not just about smacking monsters. There's this cool gravity gun called the GRP, and it lets you pick things and enemies up and toss them into hazards. Picture grabbing a mutated space inmate and hurling them into spinning machinery. It never gets old. It turns the environment into a playground of very unsafe ideas, and that's part of what makes it fun. There's a nice mix of tense exploration, crafting, and oh no moments, but it never tips into overwhelming territory. It respects the fact that you might need to breathe between heart-pounding encounters before throwing another nightmare your way. Resident Evil 3 Remake is here to deliver a thrilling, edge-of-your-seat ride through the apocalypse. If you're looking for action-packed survival horror, this one has it all. Imagine surviving in a city that's literally falling apart around you while an unstoppable, terrifying force is on your tail. That's the vibe here, and it doesn't let up for a second. One of the coolest things about this remake is how it takes the original game's concept and brings it into the modern era. The game keeps all that tension from the classic, but it dials up the action with more cinematic moments and dynamic combat. No more slow and steady sneaking around the zombies. Now, it's all about fast, thrilling combat with your heart racing as you face off against a whole range of creepy creatures. And of course, the most iconic part of this experience is that terrifying nemesis who's constantly on your heels. He's the ultimate stalker, popping up at the most unexpected times, pushing you to keep moving and keep thinking fast. You can't just sit there and wait for your moment to strike. He's always coming for you. The environments are detailed and immersive, making you feel like you're truly inside a decaying raccoon city. It's one of those games that keeps you constantly aware of your surroundings, checking every corner and rethinking every strategy. You'll need all the resources you can get, whether it's ammo, health, or even just a moment of peace to figure out what to do next. Monster Hunter World kicks things off with an exciting premise. You're hunting massive creatures, each more fearsome than the last, all while exploring an incredibly detailed world. It's not just about slashing away with your weapon. There's strategy, preparation, and a bit of patience involved. You've got to get the right gear, pick the right weapon, and make sure you understand the behavior of the creatures you're going after. Gameplay-wise, it's got a real sense of flow. You'll spend your time crafting, gathering materials, and scouting out the perfect spot to take down your target. But it's not just all about the hunt. There's a lot of exploration that goes into it too. From dense forests to desert landscapes, each area has its own feel and is filled with its own unique challenges. The combat is a highlight here, with each weapon feeling unique, offering a whole range of playstyles. Whether you're going in for fast, nimble attacks or prefer the heftier, slower hits, there's a weapon that fits your style. You're constantly adjusting, learning new tricks, and adapting to what the monsters throw your way. One of the coolest features of this game is how it encourages teamwork. You're not just hunting solo. You've got a team of hunters working alongside you, and that coordination can make or break a mission. If you're feeling extra bold, you can even go it alone, though you'll definitely find it more challenging. The world itself is full of life and surprises. Assassin's Creed Unity really brings something special to the table, especially if you're a fan of historical settings and a bit of chaos. The game drops you right into the French Revolution, which means there's no shortage of dramatic moments and a world that feels alive with history, even if you're mostly focused on parkouring up the sides of buildings. One of the standout features here is the parkour system. It's not just about running and jumping. The movement is super fluid, making it feel so much more natural as you leap across rooftops, climb up walls, and maneuver through the crowded streets. It's the kind of thing that makes you feel like an actual assassin as you blend into the chaos of revolutionary Paris. Another thing that's worth mentioning is the cooperative multiplayer. If you're someone who likes teaming up with friends, this mode lets you jump into missions together. Picture this you and your buddies planning and executing a stealthy approach through Paris, taking down targets or completing objectives, all while avoiding the chaos of going solo. It's a nice touch that makes the world feel a bit more alive, and working together opens up all kinds of strategies you might not consider when playing alone. Of course, customization plays a big role in how you approach the game. Whether it's upgrading your gear or tweaking Arno's abilities, there's plenty of freedom to shape your playstyle. Want to go all in on stealth? You've got that covered. Prefer a more aggressive, in-your-face approach? go for it. It's all about how you want to experience Paris. Hitman 3 wraps up the World of Assassination trilogy with style, offering players a truly thrilling experience. From start to finish, it's all about making stealthy decisions, perfecting the art of assassination, and feeling like the world's most dangerous secret agent. This is one of those games where the challenge isn't just about completing objectives, but finding the most creative, slick, and clever ways to take down targets. Each mission takes you to an entirely new, meticulously crafted location, from the towering skyscrapers of Dubai to the lush vineyards of Mendoza. There's always something unique to each setting, and that's what makes it so much fun to explore. The freedom you get to approach each mission in so many different ways is what makes it stand out. Want to go full stealth, taking out enemies without anyone ever knowing? You can do that. Prefer a more explosive approach? Go for it. There's no single right way to do things here, and that flexibility is key to keeping every mission fresh. The gameplay is all about choice. You can blend in with the crowd, use disguises, or find a hidden spot to wait until your target strolls by. The tools and weapons you have at your disposal range from silenced pistols to remote explosives, so the ways you can approach a mission are endless. But what really sets it apart is the way the levels are designed. There are so many little interactions you can discover. A simple act like tampering with the environment could lead to a completely unexpected outcome. Alien Isolation is one of those games that just nails the art of tension. It takes what we loved about the 1979 film and turns it into a nerve-wracking, edge-of-your-seat experience. The entire vibe is pure survival horror, and if you're into games that keep you on your toes, this is it. First off, the AI in this game is wild. The Xenomorph isn't just some mindless enemy that pops up now and then. It's smart, relentless, and always adapting to how you play. If you make a lot of noise or take the same route too many times, the alien catches on. It feels like you're always being hunted, which just amps up the tension. You'll quickly realize that stealth is your best friend here. You've got to sneak around, hide, and use the environment to your advantage. Every step you take, you're wondering if you've made too much noise or if the alien is lurking just around the corner. And let's talk about the crafting system. It's not over the top or flashy, but it's so satisfying. You've got limited resources, so you'll be scavenging for parts and making everything count. Whether it's crafting a noisemaker to distract the alien or making a med kit for when things get dicey, it's all about using what you've got to survive. It's a really nice touch that keeps you invested in the gameplay. The game does a great job of making you feel vulnerable, and that's what makes it so fun. You're not some overpowered hero running through everything like in other games. You're a regular person trying to get by in a deadly situation. Outlast 2. From the very beginning, the tension is cranked all the way up and it just never drops. Outlast 2 is one of those games that doesn't give you room to breathe, and somehow that's exactly what makes it so addicting. You're always on edge, always running, hiding, peeking through the dark, wondering what's around the next corner. And the game absolutely thrives on that feeling. What's wild is how it constantly shifts the ground under your feet. Just when you think you've figured out how things work, it throws you somewhere new with a totally different threat, and you have to scramble to get your bearings all over again. It keeps you in this state of constant unease that somehow becomes the new normal. And weirdly enough, it kind of works. You start getting good at surviving the chaos. The camera is still your lifeline, and using night vision feels like both a blessing and a curse. You need it to see, but it also makes everything more intense. Those narrow beams of light cutting through pitch black spaces never feel safe. And the battery management, that stuff makes every little decision count. Do you risk exploring a side path for supplies or play it safe and move on? It's a small mechanic, but it adds so much pressure in the best way. And then there's the pacing. It's constantly shifting between full-blown panic and slow, creeping dread. 1 minute you're sprinting for your life, and the next you're sneaking through a cornfield praying you don't get spotted. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 drops players right into the action with its fast-paced, tactical gameplay that everyone loves. Whether you're a seasoned veteran of the series or someone jumping in for the first time, there's something here for everyone. The game mixes the familiar with new, adding some cool updates that make it stand out. The multiplayer mode is where a lot of the fun happens. It's got a ton of different modes, so you'll never feel like you're running out of things to do. Whether you're into team-based objectives, free-for-all chaos, or tactical rescue missions, there's always a fresh way to dive in. The maps are constantly updated, and the cross-platform play means you can squad up with friends no matter what system they're on. Oh, and let's not forget about the gunsmith system, which gives you so many ways to customize your weapons. You can really dial in the perfect loadout for your playstyle, whether you're all about precision or heavy firepower. One of the standout features this time around is the integration with Warzone 2.0. It's a free-to-play battle royale mode that adds an entirely new layer of gameplay. Think of it as a massive playground for chaotic action. And if you're more into co-op, the Special Ops mode is perfect for teamwork and strategy. It really focuses on making you work with your teammates to complete complex missions, which adds a whole new dynamic compared to the regular multiplayer modes. It's also not all about run-and-gun action. Borderlands 3 is the game that brings the chaos, fun, and loot-filled mayhem that fans love about the series. If you're all about grabbing a gun, blasting your way through enemies, and raking in sweet loot, you're in the right place. From the get-go, the game offers an action-packed, over-the-top experience that's sure to hook you. The mix of crazy characters, hilarious banter, and tons of weapons makes this one a blast to play. Whether you're exploring vast landscapes or fighting off hordes of enemies, there's always something exciting happening. And let's not forget the loot. Whether you're searching for that perfect gun or upgrading your gear, the rewards keep you coming back for more. The real charm of Borderlands 3 comes from its fast-paced loot shooter gameplay. Every enemy encounter feels like a chance to try out new weapons and abilities. The sheer variety of guns and mods means you'll never get bored. There's always something new to test out, whether it's a rocket launcher with explosive rounds or a rifle that shoots grenades. Each weapon feels satisfying in its own way. And that's part of the fun, getting your hands on something that totally changes how you take on a fight. As you progress, the character customization is top-notch. Whether you're in it for the explosive combat or the strategy of building up the perfect skill tree, there's room to tailor your playstyle however you like. The Surge. This one hits with that gritty sci-fi energy that just doesn't let go. It drops you into a world that feels rough, worn down, and barely holding itself together, yet somehow it's incredibly fun to be a part of. The big hook is all about mech-enhanced combat, and there's this super cool system that lets you target enemy limbs and strategically rip off gear. Yeah, it sounds brutal, and it kind of is, but in the best way possible. The whole combat loop is tight. Every encounter feels intense, like you're constantly calculating your next move. You don't just swing wildly, you commit. Timing matters, dodging matters, and if you're not paying attention, it'll slap you around pretty quick. But once you start to get the rhythm, it really clicks. That moment when you perfectly execute a combo and slice off exactly the part you need, so satisfying. One of the most unique parts is how you collect upgrades. Instead of just looting a chest or grabbing drops, you have to earn it by taking down enemies in specific ways. Want that new arm piece? Go for the arm. Need a better helmet? Aim for the head. It adds a layer of strategy that feels fresh, and it keeps things from getting stale. You're always on the lookout, always thinking one step ahead. What makes it stand out even more is the progression system. Demon's Souls is a game that does not mess around. If you're looking for a game that tests your patience, your reflexes, and your willingness to face the toughest of challenges head-on, then this is it. From the moment you start, the game throws you into a world where every step, every corner, and every enemy can be your last. But here's the catch. It's also ridiculously rewarding when you finally conquer that impossible boss or survive a particularly nasty encounter. The combat system is where the game really shines. It's smooth, tight, and feels so satisfying. So every sword swing, every shield block, and every well-timed dodge has weight to it. You can feel the difference between the beginner's mistakes and the moments where you mastered the art of defense and counterattack. Getting the hang of parrying and blocking is key to survival, and once you nail it, the game becomes a whole new experience. It's all about learning, adapting, and improving your skills as you go. The world is a harsh one. You're constantly up against a variety of dangerous enemies, each with their own tricks and surprises. The challenge level is high, but that's what makes every victory feel so sweet. The game gives you little room for error, and that's exactly why it hooks you. It's like a puzzle that only rewards persistence, but when you get it right, it feels like a huge win. While the game can be unforgiving, there's something incredibly satisfying about making progress. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. This time, we get to team up with Chloe Fraser, a fan-favorite treasure hunter, as she's joined by Nadine Ross, a mercenary from Uncharted 4. What's cool about this duo is how their dynamic grows throughout the game, making every moment feel personal and compelling. Right from the start, the game does an excellent job of blending action and exploration. You'll be jumping, climbing, and swinging through environments that are both breathtaking and filled with surprises. Whether you're sneaking past enemies, solving puzzles, or just soaking in the scenery, there's always something happening. And let's be honest, finding those hidden gems and taking on the challenges feels incredibly rewarding. Combat in this game is tight, smooth, and offers a lot of ways to approach situations. You can go in guns blazing, but it's also super satisfying to sneak around, avoiding detection and using stealth. The addition of silenced weapons adds a cool strategic layer, especially when you're trying to outsmart the enemy rather than outgun them. It really lets you choose your playstyle, whether you're all about action or more about being the sneaky hero. Now, the environments themselves are like playgrounds for these two characters. There's this great balance of open spaces where you can really explore and take your time, and then there are these narrow, tense spots that make your heart race. It's a mix that keeps things fresh, so you're never stuck in one mode for too long. Death Stranding drops you into one of the most unique gaming experiences out there. It's not your typical action-packed thrill ride. It's slower, more deliberate, and all about making connections in the most unexpected ways. You're carrying packages, climbing mountains, building bridges, and doing your best not to fall on your face with a stack of boxes strapped to your back. And somehow, that ends up being way more compelling than it has any right to be. There's this oddly satisfying loop of planning your route, managing your cargo, and making it from point A to point B without everything going sideways. Every step feels earned, especially when you've trekked across rocky hills, rivers, and slippery slopes to get there. It turns simple movement into something meaningful. There's a real sense of effort and accomplishment in the most mundane tasks, and it somehow feels peaceful. But it's not just about walking. You've got all kinds of tools and gear to help you out: ladders, ropes, exoskeletons, even full-on vehicles once you get deeper in. It starts out pretty grounded, but it grows in complexity as you go. You start thinking like a logistics expert, solving terrain problems, and optimizing your deliveries like a pro. There's something addictive about mastering the system and getting into that delivery flow. And then there's the multiplayer element, which is genius in its own quiet way. You don't play directly with other people, but their presence is always felt. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Now, this one's all about jumping headfirst into an alien world and just getting lost in it. There's this wild sense of freedom right from the get-go. Like you're not being dragged along a straight path, but instead being told, hey, go explore, run wild, see what's out there. That kind of freedom is rare, and it's such a refreshing feeling when a game just lets you be. Everything in the world feels alive and interactive. You're not just moving through a space, you're part of it. Whether it's sliding down muddy hills, sprinting through thick brush, or leaping from one towering tree to another, the movement alone is just ridiculously satisfying. And when it clicks, when you're zipping through the wild like it's second nature, it's hard not to grin. Combat really mixes things up in a good way. There's a solid blend of up-close and long-range options, and switching between sleek handcrafted weapons and more high-powered gear feels smooth and punchy. It doesn't force you into one playstyle either. Want to be sneaky and pick your moment? Cool. Want to come in swinging and shaking the whole place up? Go for it. It rewards creativity and lets you go wild. One of the cooler little touches is how the game handles things like hunting and gathering. It actually pays off to be careful and intentional. There's a clear respect for the environment baked into the way the systems work,